Okay, so this is what you're going to be needing, and you're going to need some wax strips, and I just got these at Sally's. Some gloves, you don't want the wax getting all over your skin. A spatula. Some cotton pads. The eyebrow tinting kit, you can use any kit. I used the Eyelure one. Some tweezers, scissors and some makeup wipes just to clean everything up as well. Obviously a wax pot, this has been heating for a while. So just excuse the bare face guys, you don't want to put any makeup on before doing your eyebrows. So today I'm going to be showing you my in-depth eyebrow tutorial. So I'm going to be showing you everything from dyeing, cutting, waxing and filling them in at the end as well. So I trained as a beauty therapist in college, so I know what I'm doing. Please don't try this at home for the first time if you don't know what you're doing. I really recommend going to have your eyebrows done by a professional first in a salon or an eyebrow bar so that they can give you the shape that you really want. By all means you can give this a go afterwards. Also with the tinting kit you really need to do a patch test first, so just apply a little bit of the dye here. If you get a reaction, obviously you know not to use the product, you're allergic. So I've done this on clients in the past and this is just the way I like to do my eyebrows. So I'm not telling you how to, I'm just showing you how I do my eyebrows. So let's get started, enough of me rambling. What you really don't want is wax in your hair. So I'm just taking a headband. So first things first, I'm going to start by dyeing my eyebrows. So I use the Eyelure London Pro Brow Dye Brow and I use black. My eyebrows just fade so quickly, so rather than me getting a dark brown to match my hair, black is just so much easier. And what's really cool about this kit is the packaging comes with a little bowl. So all I'm doing is taking one little dot and I'm taking 2 to 3 drops of the activator. That was more like 5 drops, but... So you don't want to leave this. As soon as the activator is in contact with the cream, you want to mix this straight away. And once you've mixed that together, you're going to apply it straight away. Okay, and then I'm just applying that in a backwards motion on my eyebrows. And in college and with clients I'm really precise with this, but on myself I literally just chuck it on because I've done it so many times. And all I'm doing is going back and forth with the brush, making sure every single hair is covered. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, oh my gosh, what on earth has she done? She's got slugs for brows now. No, don't panic. You shouldn't leave these on too long as the dye does react straight away, but I'm just making sure that everything is covered. Just going to take one of those cotton pads, split it in half. This just saves product, and then fold each one in half. You save money, guys. Okay, so the first one we're just going to wipe off like so. So you can see how well that product works. They're a lot darker than they were earlier. And then just taking a makeup wipe to remove any excess dye. So for the next step you're going to want to take a spoolie and some scissors, and all I'm doing is brushing those hairs at the front of the brow up and trimming them. So just snip away at anything that's too long. And then these hairs you're going to want to brush down. And anything that's too long, just snip it away. And you want to get a good scissors for this. Don't just use any old scissors, it won't work. So you want to go to Sally's or a beauty outlet, or you can even get them online. So now that we've dyed and trimmed the brows, we're going to move on to the waxing. So before we start waxing, we're going to create the shape of the eyebrow that we want using a white pencil. And to mark out where your eyebrow should be, you're just going to take something flat, and we're judging this by our nostril. So I'm just lining that up with the nostril, and where it ends up here is where you want to mark. So from your nostril we're taking it here and in line with your eye, so here, so you're going to want to mark there, and where your eye ends here. So those are the 3 points. So here, here and here. And all we're doing then is drawing an outline. It's like playing dot to dot, really. So anything inside the white is going to stay and anything outside of the white is going to go. And what you're going to want to do is take a spatula, hold the bottom half and the top half, snap that in half, and I'm taking the pointed edge of this spatula to apply the wax. Picking up some wax, and I always start on the bottom, so creating a straight line across the bottom. Like so, just following that white line as your guideline. And what I've done is cut my wax strips up into little tiny strips, and I'm just applying that over the wax, and you're going to rub that with the hairs. So rub with the direction of the hair growth and pull against the hair to rip them out. So 3, 2, 1. So we're going to keep going with this. Pick up the wax. And you haven't got to follow this shape. Obviously you do whatever shape your eyebrows are. And repeating those same steps. I also do the middle because no one wants a monobrow. And then obviously I've cut one a bit wider for this. And I know not everyone waxes the top, but I've never had a problem with it. I've always waxed the top of my eyebrow. It's just the way I like to do it. So just gently across the top.
Just realised I didn't have my gloves on. What a donk.
So I'm just taking my makeup wipe and removing that white. And you want to make sure these are sensitive. You have just removed the skin. and then just brush through that. And I will be coming back to this one, but I'm going to continue at the moment waxing this one. And I don't need the white as a guideline, I've done it so many times. I was just showing you an easier way to do that. So last step that I do is just take my tweezers, just go in and take away any of those hairs that were too stubborn to come out with the wax. And you can see I've gone really red, but that's nothing to worry about, it'll be gone in a few hours. I am going to fill them in for you as well, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to film that tomorrow morning because I'm not going to apply any makeup to my face at all now today. You want to just leave that breathe. Hi guys, so it's now been 24 hours since I showed you how I tinted and waxed my eyebrows. I know I look completely weird at the moment without them filled in, but I've done the rest of my makeup and I'm going to show you how I fill in my brows step by step. So first things first, you're going to want to brush those through. I use my spoolie end of the Brow Wiz pencil by Anastasia Beverly Hills and I just comb them through. And once I've brushed them through, I go straight in with my Dipbrow Pomade by Anastasia Beverly Hills again. This is in Ebony, which I believe is the darkest shade they do. I might be wrong. I then pick up my eyebrow brush, and I believe this is the 263. The number's rubbed off, but I will list it below for you. I just pick up a bit of that pomade. Not too much. Squeeze that brush together and I'm starting by creating a line on the bottom of the brow. So if I zoom you in a little bit. So I start about a quarter way in. I never take it straight from here because I don't want too much product on this end. So just slightly start stroking that brush through. And you don't want to create one harsh line. Don't put too much pressure on the brush. I'm holding it really gently. And once we get here, we're going to curve the brush and start working that product down to the tail. I do extend my tail slightly. And I like it to be really thin at the end, like that. And I'm not picking up any more product, I'm just using whatever's left on the brush to create the top line. So really gently on this one, you don't want this to be harsh. And drag that product down to meet the tail. So it looks really funny at the moment. Then I'm going to pick up a little more product to fill them in. So if you see any gaps where the hair hasn't grown, fill them in. And once you've got your desired shape, you're going to want to stop with the Dipbrow as that's a really thick product. And what I like to do then is go in with my Brow Bar to Go by Whitening. And I'm using the same brush and I'm picking up this darker shade. And because this is a powder form, it'll set the pomade in place. And all I'm doing is filling in those gaps. And then next step, I just pinch the brush and I'm drawing a line on the inner part of the brow. So just on the bottom and really lightly. Then I'm just angling the brush down and flicking upwards, creating a hair-like effect if you wish. I'm just going to quickly do the other brow. When I look back at my old photos with like no eyebrows or the really straight eyebrows, I'm just like, oh my god, what were you thinking? Then I'm going back in with my spoolie and combing those through. And once I've combed them through, I drag the product to the front of the brow. Really gently. And with these kind of blended eyebrows, what you're trying to avoid is using the same amount of product this end as you do this end. So there's always more product on the tail and it blends so that it's lighter down here. I know not everyone likes this shape eyebrow, but this has been requested and this is just how I do mine. And same on the other side, brush them through. And blend. So simple. I'm really sorry about the lighting in the beginning of the video as well. I had to film it behind me over here because there's no plug point this side. And I needed my plug point for my wax pot. And next step I always do is carve out my brows, and I usually take my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer for this, but I've run out, so I'm just taking my NYX HD Concealer. This is in Beige, and my MAC 212 Definer brush to carve them out. So I just take a bit of this on the bottom of the brow. Oh, don't get it in your eyelash like me. And I just take that brush and carve them out. So you want to get it as close to the brow as possible, and you're just highlighting and cleaning up those brows. And then I blend the rest of that concealer down. The same on the other side. I just use whatever's left on the brush, and there is quite a lot left on the brush, and I go on the inner corner, clean that up. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more concealer on the top, so not as much as I did on the bottom. And now we look ready for a festival. just blend those out to start with, and then cleaning the top of the brows. So same thing all the way around basically. And then I did the same thing on the other side. And last step, I just take my L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper and I set everything in place. So this is just like a mascara for your eyebrows. And the brush is really small, so it's really easy to use, really manageable. And you can leave it at that step if you like, but I always like to set the concealer. So I just pick up a white shade and I set just the bottom. So I set that in place. Any light powder will do. And then last step, I just take some highlighter to highlight the brow bone, and I just use my Mary Lou Manizer by the Balm and my Real Techniques definer brush. And I just take that here. So there we have it guys, this is the final result. This is just how I like to do my eyebrows. Obviously everyone has their own preferences, and yeah, this was highly requested. So rather than just showing you how I filled them in, I thought I'd put everything together, an in-depth eyebrow tutorial from start to finish. And the reason I do it all myself is because obviously one, I'm qualified, but two, it's so much cheaper doing it myself. You haven't got to spend like £20 every 2 weeks having them done in the salon. But so many of you have asked how I do them, so I thought I'd show you exactly what I do step by step. And just remember guys, it does take practice, so don't be disheartened if you can't get it exactly the way you want it the first time. It's taken me years to get my eyebrows the way I want them. So I hope you enjoyed this video guys, and I'll see you really soon.